Mentrane danser fast och stanser. I sing yeah. Mentrane danser fast och stanser. When you sing, she sings, come home. When you sing, she sings, come home. To Sylvie, everybody! Another!
What is up, guys, and welcome back to episode 3 of Loki on Disney+. Now, we're basically halfway through this season. Now, that makes me sad, but it's starting to kind of ramp up, and I've got a lot of questions and theories that I will mention at the end of this video. Now, episode 3 is called Lamentis, which is very fitting because this episode is based on a planet called Lamentis 1, which they essentially get stuck on. They go there in the year 2077, which is not good because it is in the middle of an apocalypse where essentially a moon is about to crash down and blow it up. So yeah, this episode will basically tackle them trying to escape Lamentis, essentially. And you know, you kind of get more relationship building. This was kind of a filler episode in my opinion. It wasn't anything special. Definitely some key moments that kind of happened which make you think, but mainly for me, this was a filler episode to build the relationship between Loki and Sylvie.
Because I could do anything. You want to see?
Not bad.
Now, in the last episode, we did mention, is this Lady Loki or is this Sylvie? Obviously, we saw in the credits that Sylvie was who is credited for this role, and I think by the looks of it, after what she says to Loki, she goes by Sylvie. That's kind of her alias. So you'd think that's going to be the character, which if that is, and she's not actually a variant of Loki. In the comic book, Sylvie is given powers by Loki. So I'm not sure how they're going to wangle that one. I don't really know how that's going to go. There's a lot of arcs that could happen there, but we'll have to wait and see on that character. She, you know, you got to take anything they say with a pinch of salt. With any Loki, you've got to take it at face value. Obviously, they can tell you one thing, but you have no idea if it's the truth or not. I mean, if one thing we've learned about Loki throughout the series of like Marvel films is you think he's telling the truth about one thing, and then suddenly he goes and does some mad things, and you're just like, okay, you can't trust this guy. The biggest reveal in this episode was, in fact, when Sylvie says the TVA agents are all variants. So there's a conversation between Loki and Sylvie, and she basically tells him they're variants, and quite frankly, I didn't think big reveals like that would happen so quick in the series, but I guess if we're halfway through, who knows? Which could explain why Mobius has that kind of attraction to jet skis. I guess maybe in his previous life as a human, he was maybe someone who loved jet skis from that kind of generation. So that would make a lot of sense. But does it also mean that maybe there's other versions of Mobius that have been in the TVA? Potentially he's going to run into a version of himself. Because obviously there is that bit where he's in the office and he's putting down the mug and there's all the little ring marks. And they're all from him, but maybe they're not all from him. Maybe they're all from different versions of him. Does he know he's a variant? I doubt it. They all think, as far as they're concerned, that they are born into the TVA, basically, and created. So that will be an interesting twist to see how that kind of goes, and whether Loki's going to tell him. And potentially, Mobius will then turn on that. I don't really know. Maybe he'll turn on the TVA and work with Loki. But that could be interesting.
You ever been on one?
No. I think a TVA agent showing up on a jet ski on the sacred timeline, that would create a branch for sure.
That'll be fun, though.
Yeah. It'd be really fun.
Another big thing we are getting from this series is we are seeing more powers from Loki. Now, in previous films, we have not seen a lot of Loki's powers, mainly some mischief and some hologram and stuff like that. We're still seeing that, but we are getting a lot more dagger play and more use of his magic. Now, Sylvie even says that his magic is a lot more powerful than hers. She has some slightly different abilities. We see him using all sorts. I mean, in the previous episode, we saw him do the kind of Accio. I don't know what that's called in Loki terms, but in Harry Potter terms, that's an Accio. But yeah, we see that. And I mean, in this episode, we see him kind of almost blasting people away with his kind of magical powers. I don't really know again what that is. And another big moment is he stops a tower. So there's the tower falling down and he kind of stops it and rewinds it from going back up. Now I don't know if that is his power or if that's got anything to do with the fact that he picked up a time stone in the previous episode. I don't know if he's picked up a time stone and used that. I mean, normally from previous films with Thanos and Doctor Strange, there's like a green glow to it. So I don't know if that was a time stone or if that was just a power of Loki's that we're just not familiar with, where you can kind of reconstruct things and kind of go back in time a little bit. So I don't really know about that, but let me know what your thoughts on that one is.
Oh, will you stop it? Bye.
Now this episode does end with them not escaping the planet. They basically miss the Ark, it gets blown up, and they're essentially stuck on this planet. So I can imagine episode 4 is going to follow up from this, where they'll be at, I can imagine at the beginning they'll be on this planet still, and which might be part of that trailer we saw where they're both sat down kind of on an apocalyptic planet, and I can imagine the TVA are going to come in and kind of pull them out. Now, a character I would love to see in either this or in future Marvel kind of films or series is Kang the Conqueror. Now, if you're not aware, Kang the Conqueror does have a kind of affiliation with the TVA. He is, of course, one of the timekeepers. So he has that affiliation, so it wouldn't be the most ludicrous suggestion that he could feature in this series. He is very much a character that is known for time travel, and I mean, in the comic books, he time traveled in a Sphinx like ship back to Egypt, like Egyptian times, and essentially kind of went all the way back and wowed the Egyptians. And yeah, one thing led to another. He bumps into Doctor Doom, and you know, Doctor Doom and Kang are very similar characters. Very much he's a time traveler. He could easily be the next big villain in this. I'm not sure if he's going to be. He's already been cast, so he will be featuring. I just don't know how soon it'll be or when it will be. But yes, that would be really cool. I would love to see Doctor Doom as well, but I'm not sure how massively that will tie in. But with Kang the Conqueror, there is the quantum realm links. Now, a big theory I have been seeing kind of spiral around the internet is the TVA in the quantum realm? Now, if you haven't seen this, the kind of shots of it, back in Ant-Man and the Wasp, I believe it is, when they go into the quantum realm, there is a shot of a city in the background. Now, if you missed it, here it is. Now that city, people are thinking that maybe is the TVA Citadel, which it looks like it. And I mean, with the fact that Kang the Conqueror and the Quantum Realm and their link, all those links are there, who knows? They could just be teasing us. I mean, there is a little kind of link in with Ant-Man where Mobius says time moves differently in the TVA, which is very similar to what Ant-Man actually says when he comes out of the quantum realm. He says that time moves differently in the quantum realm. So whether that's just a tease or it's just a coincidence, I'm not too sure. But that is a theory I really love, and I guess we'll get that answered in the next few episodes. As I say, we're halfway through this series. It's good so far, it's good. As I say, episode 1 and 2 was kind of introducing us to this. Episode 3, as I say, was very much a filler episode, answering some questions and basically building the relationship between Loki and Sylvie and what's to come in this. Now, I don't know, I think the next episode will be the Vote Loki that we saw in the trailers, kind of the Vote Loki timeline, so I'm not too sure, but I'm enjoying this series. Let me know what you're thinking of this series. If you're enjoying me reviewing this, hit a like, hit subscribe. I appreciate each and every one of you for watching my videos. Anyway, peace out, guys.
Bye, have a great time.